Good day to you, partner. I'm Keen, and I can already tell that I'll be your best friend in this forsaken cave.
Hey guys, Wheat Solo here, aka the Skeleton King. So, this is my second video of the Pure Fizzmancer with Brand. I have not done Eternity or just Beast main hand, although I am sure both would be fine for most players, especially considering the kind of, what's the word for it? Standards certain players set to hit each season. Um, Not that it's a bad thing. If you know what you are and what you want, I mean, that's cool. I just expect a little more from my summoners, having played this fucking retarded class for 7 seasons, trying to make the simplest short bus build into something anything else than what it really is, okay? I'm a softcore summoner. That's why I have that little thing at the top of the video. That's my specialty. So I think it's actually a sub 8 because I'm showing you guys my cast rate is only 30 now, which is still better. If I swap the amulet and the circlet, I could easily get 10 FCR there, 20 from the amulet, and now instead of at 40, we're at 70. Then I put on a 10 FCR ring, and I'm at 75. And that's not even with GG gear. Again, there's no cores. Although, technically, like a 220 circlet with 3 sockets is GG, and that would be what I would have borrowed from Topwug. But Topwug was too busy being selfish. Anyways, we wasted an hour doing that podcast and still didn't get the audio right, but that's my fault this time, trust me. Although Topwug is too nice. So, anyways, as you can see, my play is still not very good. This is a pretty high density map. Well, I mean, I consider it high density now. It's so hard to roll a map these days without annoying mods. It's even harder in this coming season, it seems like. There's added ED. It's not even ED, it's just monsters do 20% increased physical damage, and that's a lot different for a base monster that already is dealing a high amount of physical damage. So those are dangerous. I got poison damage, which is actually annoying if you don't have a lot of PLR, which I don't, or a source of cleansing. But it's really not that bad. Minus 22 res is a little too much for me. I'm not over capped, so that definitely hurts. And fortified monsters do a bit more damage. But honestly, I would say this map is, if anything, on the much better end of sides. I can't say anything else besides it than that. As you'll notice, there's an interesting bug in this map. I'm not sure this is known. I am pretty sure it is, but I will definitely let Senpai and Kanite know. It appears that every single Doom Knight in this map was bugged. And actually, I think it made me take longer to clear this section because I don't think I knew what was happening right here, but I didn't know they weren't moving yet. And I think it's literally right now, I'm like, oh, okay, these enemies are bugged. Like, literally, when I just walk past these guys and then run next to them, I'm like, maybe if I'm in melee range, they'll attack. That was what I was thinking, because the Oblivion Knights are casting. They don't move too much, but I was thinking, okay, maybe it's just they can't move, like the Oblivion Knight, and they can't attack because they're melee. So if I walk into range, they'll attack, but no, they're not even doing that. So does that make the map easier? Honestly, I don't think so, because I was just discussing this in Necro Discussion. You actually want monsters to have velocity. It's actually a map mod that increases clear speed. Now, of course, considering certain limitations of you, yourself, or your hardcore, it definitely might increase danger at some points. Vigor can definitely catch you off guard when a monster or a mob spawns with that. But in general, when monsters move faster, they die faster, and that's what we want, okay? The map is going great though. I again am not playing optimally. I keep forgetting my keybinds because they're so much different than what I'm used to, and I'm not even cursing as well as I could. By the way, getting used to such small curse radiuses is so annoying. In fact, if I had to redesign this for a season long play, I would probably try and max curse mastery. That'll give more radius to both amplify damage and Decrepify, and then of course I have Lore Resist or Weaken to throw on as needed. Or even Life Tap, which honestly is not very useful for solo play, but there are times where your Merc will die without it, so just having the option to have Amp Decrep and Life Tap on, or if you get to a boss and you can't use Decrepify, and I always forget that map bosses you still can't Decrep, throwing on Life Tap and Weaken will basically ensure that your Merc doesn't die. My Merc definitely almost dies here. By the way, only one archer dies during this map. It's probably because it is fortified. By the way, Emilio was so close to dying there, and I'm so glad he is so beefy because he did it, and that would be annoying. And there, I believe one of my archers just died, and I think it was actually to a mob, but it probably didn't help that the boss casted a Cold Nova. That might have been part of it. But fort monsters do attack harder. I believe they have double health and then like 10% more damage. It's not a lot, but just giving enemies enhanced damage is really dangerous. That's kind of why they took it out of Diablo 3. Is just the way these games work is that, you know, monsters have a lot of life. Players don't have a lot of life. Monsters don't do a lot of damage. Players do a lot of damage. And when you start to mess with the damage of monsters or the health of players, things can go wrong really, really quickly. So besides the cast speed, why is this run going so much better? For one, I'm a little bit more used to it, and two, I just have the gear a little more set up. It's honestly the same exact gear. I just changed some things around. I went with more FHR, life, and I actually rolled a pair of bolts, which gave me some res, and I believe FHR a faster run walk. But just having that extra life and FHR, and one more brink point of FCR just makes the build so much more fluid to play. As you can see, that Cold Nova actually did a lot of damage, and I believe Cold is the only resistance I am capped at right now because of my Cold Shrine. So if you do play a fort map, be prepared to experience a little more damage than normal. I am still playing Max Vita, although I think at this point, with my gear a little more set up, you should shift more into energy, but I just didn't really want to deal with a reset, and I felt like this was going to be good enough for most demonstrations. So, you know, I could obviously get more FCR. I could change around my skill points a bit. I definitely don't think this is optimal. Curse Radius would be nice, but I think if I was just more judicious in when I casted Decrepify, it should be fine. But as you can see, there's consistently times where I think I cast the curse enough, and it's just not going up on the enemy targets. But again, a sub-8 map on a build I have played for the second time, and literally the third time I have held a brand in my hands as a necromancer, and holding a brand just makes you feel so scared. I guess the one more thing to talk about is that there are some changes to might and fanaticism and concentration. They're basically getting nerfed a little bit, and that's because they're just a little too good, and just giving Blessed Aim some sort of offensive power. Whether or not it becomes a mainstay, again, I doubt that. I think most classes will handle most of their Deadly Strike on their own, but for summoners, it really gives us an added mechanic. And by the way, I will say this, I am probably not going to test Dudu. I'm sorry, I really don't like Dudu Summoner. Maybe once. There's one cool thing about Dudu. Okay, there's two cool things about Dudu Summoner. Well, three. Okay, I'm just adding them up. You can turn into a bear, you can summon ravens, and Gust is OP. But besides that, I don't really care. But I think I will try Summons On with its fixes to Critical Strike and also the Blessed Aim Merc giving Deadly Strike. And I think Summons On actually might be a legitimate mapping option as of now. Well, I think that's it, guys. Skelly King out. GG.
Come play with us, Daddy.